So to start out the next set of videos, I want to show y'all the first step in which I take on any new project, and that is the inspiration pics. So that's what you're seeing right here. These are what the customer had sent me, and this is a SketchUp that I did of kind of a combination of the two. So that being said, let's get into the video. So after the initial consult with the customers, I went back a second time and we kind of revised some things on the sketch and made some changes. The overall dimensions of this console was really big. It was 13 foot wide and we went 10 foot tall. So that being said, it was a fun project, and I'm just going to kind of show y'all my process. Once you've finalized your plans and got all your dimensions for everything, then it's going to come down to material selection. We went with soft maple for the console, for the floating shelves. For the panels, we did soft maple for the wood slat panel, and then for the other walls, we were doing white oak. In this video clip, you're seeing me use my biscuit joiner to do some of the glue ups for the console. I usually like to start with any of the glue up that needs to be done first, because I like to let it set overnight, and then while that's drying, I can start on other stuff that doesn't require it. The biscuits are going to give this a little bit of structural strength, but the main reason I use these are to help line the pieces up a little better. The console is going to be about 22 inches deep, so right here I'm using 1x12 maple. You'll notice here that I'm clamping on all four sides. The long clamps can tend to kind of pull the boards in and warp the piece, so you want to use some scrap wood on the end with clamps there, and it's going to keep those pieces nice and flat. Here's a quick look at the first round of glue ups. These are most of the pieces for the console. I generally like to let my glue ups sit for about 8 to 12 hours. Next thing on the to-do list is to cut most of the pieces for the floating shelves, which is what we're doing right here. I like to cut most of my pieces a little bit on the long side, so when I'm going ahead and getting my miter set, if something's a little bit off, you've got a little bit of wiggle room so you can make the cut again. This is definitely a much more challenging way of doing floating shelves, but if done correctly, it looks really nice. Built these this way quite a few times. I've never done these before and thought, oh, this time it was super easy. So my best advice is just take your time. Like I said, cut the pieces a little bit along if you need to, get your miter set just right, and just cut really slowly, because the more perfect you can get those cuts, the better. So if you don't have a planer or a bench joiner, then make sure that when you're picking out your materials that you get them as perfectly straight as you can get them. If they have any type of warp or bow to them, you just forget about it. Like trying to do this on these 45s, it's just going to be impossible. Ideally, you don't really want to use any trim nails on your floating shelves, especially if you're doing a light colored stain. But if you're painting it and stuff like that, it's not that big a deal. But between the tape and a couple of trim nails, this is going to help hold those pieces in place while that glue sets up. So most of our glue ups are done at this point. We're going to start working on the oak panels. When you're cross-cutting anything like this, always make sure that the side that's not going to be showing is faced up when you're doing your cut. That top layer of veneer is bad about chipping sometimes, so the clean cut is going to be on the bottom side. Side note, I was told that if you put tape down when you're doing a cross cut, it might actually help with that splintering of the veneer, so I might have to look into trying that. For this project, we have 3 individual oak panels that we're doing, so we're going to edge band all of them, and this is the pre-glued edge banding that all you have to do is iron on. This clip right here is the double-sided edge band cutter that I bought, and it worked really well. Once you have all your edge banding on and trimmed down, I come back with some 220, and we're just kind of hand sanding those edges and getting it nice and cleaned up. As always, thank y'all for watching. If y'all have any questions, just leave some comments below and I will answer personally. The next video will be part 2, and it'll be the console build. Thanks again.